All right, hey, welcome in. Sorry, low introduction, but we have Lucas Gephardt and Blake, and we can hear people cheering in the background. We wanted to get this out because we are live, and Lucas is live from the Fiesta Bowl, Glendale, with Blake, and you've been down there for a couple of days. What's it like? What are you feeling down there?
Yeah, so right now we're in an area called Westgate in Glendale, just a few blocks away from the stadium, State Farm Stadium. This is kind of, we'll set the scene right here. This is kind of what we're looking at right here. So you can see a lot of bars, a lot of restaurants here, a lot of people mingling around. Ryan, keep in mind, we're still 3+ hours or I guess just under 3 hours now to kickoff. So people have been around here pretty much all day, right, Blake?
Yeah, all day. It's been great so far. There's a lot of blue and orange.
Yeah, there's a lot of blue and orange. This bar right next to us here, that's kind of Penn State's headquarters. And then Boise State's headquarters. I don't know if you can see those kind of.
The rest of it.
Yeah, the rest of it, right? I mean, what did you say? I'd say it's 70-30 BSU to Penn State right now.
With what we're looking at right now, yeah. We did take a peek over on the western side a little bit more. There was some white down there, but it's definitely it's going to be passy, I think, for both tracks.
Yeah, one thing I will note though, talking to a couple Penn State fans around here, is that Penn State's kind of been here, done that before, right? This is not their first. I mean, not BSU's first Fiesta Bowl either, but Penn State's a big-time program. They got alumni all over the country. So I think when the game kicks off, it might not be a 70-30 crowd, even though it's kind of 70-30 for what we're seeing right now. Because there's a lot of Penn State alumni that live in the Phoenix area. There's a lot of Penn State alumni that live
And they know the routine. They know when to show up.
Whereas kind of Boise State, I mean, this is only the fourth time this has even happened in school history for Boise State, right? So this, for all intents and purposes, it's kind of Boise State's Super Bowl. I mean, this is kind of the apex of what Boise State has known throughout their program's history. Whereas Penn State, kind of another year for them, you know what I mean?
Another week. Just, next game up, mentality, basically.
So it'll be interesting to see how the game fills out. Pretty much everyone who's a Penn State fan is wearing white, and that's kind of their go-to color, right? So Boise State, pretty even balance between orange and blue, but any white you see in the stadium is going to be a Penn State fan.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as we talk and we think a little bit about this game as it approaches, and I've been here in Boise, I've been out and about, and I'm talking to everybody, and everybody's getting ready. And you should see it. There's Broncos on all the billboards, and everybody's all excited. And it's going to be, this is a big time deal for Boise State. And I would argue, and you guys can argue back if you'd like, that this is the biggest game in Boise State football history. Bigger than any Fiesta Bowl prior to this, better than the Mountain West Conference Championship. This is the pinnacle of Boise State football.
1,000%. Growing up in Boise, I mean, we had the Fiesta Bowl, but nothing like this, where the opportunity is to do something even more. I mean, we had the Kellen Moore years where you had the Titus Youngs, the Austin Pettis, you had all these phenomenal athletes, but they just couldn't get the job connected and the job done. This is the opportunity to do it, and I like our chances, honestly. Yeah,
do you have blue colored glasses on though? Let's be honest.
I do not have blue colored glasses.
Yeah, we've been talking for the last couple of days that I think both of us feel that Boise State's got to keep the game in the 20s. I think the over/under is right about 50, 52, somewhere in the 50s. The under's got to hit, I think, for Boise State to have a chance in this one.
100%. And the thing with Boise State, they're going to need to control the momentum. They need to control the clock.
Yeah.
Because if they don't control the clock, Penn State has a good offense, great defense. They're Big Ten. They gave Oregon the business. We gave Oregon a pretty good showing. So, I mean, it's just one of those situations where Dirk Cutter's going to be on his ball. We're going to have a game plan. We've got to control the clock. If we control the clock, defense can show up, and then we'll be good.
Hey, we joked last night that first play from scrimmage, let's say Boise State wins the toss, right? Boise State win the toss. We want the ball first, hook and ladder first play.
For those from Boise.
Yeah.
So a couple of things that I'm going to throw out there. So I was talking to a friend of mine, big Boise State guy, went to Boise State. From there, he's from Eagle, so I guess that counts, right? But he was saying a couple of things. Number one, he said Dirk Cutter, with all his vast experience, we're talking NFL, head coach, all kinds of things, is not going to leave them schematically out of it. He thinks that it's going to boil down to mano a mano, basically man-to-man, who has the better talent. Because we know Penn State is going to run the football. They have two big backs that are going to go in there, and they both rush for over 800 yards. I think they both have over 11 touchdowns each.
Unbelievable tight end on their end, too.
And tight end, yeah.
But then the number 11, too, on defense. Like, their number 11, it's always going to be a dog.
They have 2 first-round defensive linemen, or edge rusher, interior linemen. So the other half of that he said, and this is what we were kind of going back and forth, was, you know what, you're going to get beat. At some point, you're going to get beat in the defensive backfield. That's been the Achilles tendon for Boise State all year long. The defensive backs haven't shown up. So why not just commit to stopping the run and then take your licks? He said if they can stop the run and keep and limit the damage coming from that ground game, and then just take their chances in the defensive backfield, maybe come up with a pick or something else, that gives them the best chance to do it. And to your point, both Blake and Lucas, you guys both said run the ball, control the clock. We talk about shortening the game, right? Limit the possessions so those explosive plays don't happen, so the gap doesn't get too big. And if you hang around at the end, anything can happen.
100%.
Many
Fiesta Bowls have taught us that. You hang around to the end.
Yeah, exactly. And, kind of to your point and your buddy's point, is Penn State's going to get their licks in. I mean, Boise State does not win the Jimmy's and Joe's matchup with this. Penn State's in the Big Ten. They're perennial power in the Big Ten. Penn State's got the better athletes. So there's going to be plays in this game where Penn State hits some big chunk plays, and they get 20, 30, 40 yards. And you gotta be okay with it. You gotta move on. Plan the next play, right? So there's going to be plays like that where you look up and go, wow, Penn State's got better athletes, and you're just plays like that are just going to happen.
100%. But it goes back to your CFP playing mentality, where bend but don't break. Right? You got to walk in with matters, keep it to 3, keep it small.
Yeah, right.
All right, let's talk real quick then. We're going to go with these games. We're going to talk about the spread. Do you like the spread? We'll go predictions afterwards. So Penn State by 12. Take your blue glasses off, boys. I know you got them on. Take those blue glasses off. Does Boise State cover the spread?
Honestly, I think they do. I think this is a low-scoring game. 12 is a tough number for me. But I think Boise State will cover the spread. I think the under is going to hit. I think Boise State can win this game. I think they will win this game. I think out of all the matchups that are left, I like this matchup the most, and for a couple of reasons. Number one, I'm getting the feeling that we've been walking around for a couple hours now. This might basically be a home game for Boise State, judging from what we've seen. There's a lot of Boise State fans down here flying in. I mean, it was orange and blue all through, not the Boise airport, the Denver airport. You went through San Francisco, kind of a similar experience, right? I think there's going to be more Boise State fans than Penn State fans down here. Penn State does not have a great track record in big games, right? So there's still a little bit left to prove for Penn State.
And I also think that there's a little bit of mentality that, Penn State's going to win this game. So a lot of Penn State fans are thinking about the next week. Right. If you want to be a fan and you want to travel down to the Cotton Bowl, Miami, whichever one ends up, right? Where are you going to put your eggs? And I think that there's a little bit of hubris that might come with that.
Yeah, I totally agree with that one. I think if you're a Penn State, and we were talking about this earlier, if you're a Penn State fan and you're going to go to one game, it's not this one. But if you're a Boise State fan, you're going to go to one game, it is this one, right? And so I do think Boise State's going to have a little bit of the momentum advance. One thing we haven't touched on yet, and why I think Genty is going to have a huge game today, because him not getting the Heisman just put a chip on his shoulder. And we talked about it earlier shows that Genty put a chip on his shoulder because he didn't get the Heisman, right? And this team plays at its best when people are doubting him. And we've seen shirts all around town the last few days. They say, please count us out. And that's a Spencer Danielson quote of the week, right? Please count us out. We've seen those shirts all over town. It just seems like another game for Penn State, but for Boise State, it seems like this means a little bit more to them. So I think Boise State's going to come out with a little more energy.
It's a state small guys.
So you mean to tell me But a national championship, by the way, I've got another shiner going on. Oh, this eye.
Yeah.
I got beat up. I got hit in the head with a baseball. It's not good.
Jeez.
So you mean to tell me that it's more important to Boise State than for Penn State to win a national championship? Is that what I just heard?
I would say not necessarily a national championship, but this particular game. I think there's a lot more riding on this game for Boise State, the group of 5. If Boise State wins this game, they could go get blown out next week in the semifinal, and it's a great season.
And you got to think too, for the people of Boise, there's an aura around the Fiesta Bowl, right? If you grew up in the area, or you've been paying attention to Boise State football for the last 10 years, this is something you know about. I mean, these are the places. Like, I have buddies that are from the East Coast, from the South, that know the Fiesta Bowl, that know Boise State, that know Oklahoma game. You know, there's just that allure to it.
And as much as I would love to say that, we've been here before, we've done that, none of those players have ever played in the Fiesta Bowl. In fact, none of those coaches have ever coached in the Fiesta Bowl. So to me, it's like, cool.
Fiesta Bowl was almost 20 years ago.
Yeah, we as fans and you as fans, because I'm not necessarily a fan, but you as fans, sure, you know it, right? And that's great that you've been there before, you've been to the same stadium. But what about the players? You know, have they not? All that being said, there is rich tradition, right? And there's the idea that Boise State shows up for these big games. Now, Boise State does something better than I've seen most teams do, which is they plan and they get ready for the big game, right? They put a big circle around it, they scheme around it, and not only that, they take the attack to the team. So, for example, with Oregon, they circled it. They knew what they built up for. Well, Oregon had the rest of the Big Ten to play, right? This is it. This is it for Boise State. All the eggs are in this basket. Penn State has to think about winning this game, winning the next game, and then winning a national championship. And you live and die by one game at a time, and I think that's a Boise State mentality, absolutely.
Well, I mean, you think about Penn State and their perspective, right? I mean, Penn State, like, kind of the black eye on them has been they can't win the big game. They've been close, but they can't get to and win the national championship, right? So Penn State, again, we're right next to a Penn State bar, so here we go. There's what we're looking at.
There it is.
Oh, boy. Oh.
All good, though, right? Like, that's all good.
Up there, we're not on the FCC, right? But point being, Penn State, the expectations are higher than this game. Boise State, the expectations are this game. And if they win this game, I mean, fan base is more than happy. Honestly, fan base is just happy to be at this game.
100%.
Right? And so Boise State's got nothing to lose.
Yeah, play like there's no tomorrow, you know, because there may not be no tomorrow. And, okay, so all that being said, let's bring this back into perspective. Biggest game in Boise State football history, right? You can argue the first game that they went Division I, blah, blah, but it doesn't compare. All that said, I don't know if this happens like this ever again for a couple of reasons. Number one, Heisman Trophy winner Ashton Jeanty. How often does that come around? I mean, that's lightning in a bottle, and honestly, that really doesn't happen. I'm not here to say that they never have another Heisman Trophy contender, but to that caliber, to the people's Heisman Trophy winner in Ashton Jeanty, I don't think that happens again. That's number one. Number two, the way the schedule lined up, right? You took your lick against Oregon. Oregon is not the same team they were back then, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's your loss by 3 at Oregon. You'll take that. And then you go on, you rip off 12 straight wins. Fantastic, right? And then on top of that, the way that the CFP lines up. This won't happen again. They're going to correct this. There's no way that Boise State and Arizona State should have first-round byes. There's just not. When you have other teams, Notre Dame's fantastic. So this is the game for Boise State. It does not get any bigger or better on any level, nor do the stars align any better, and playing a Penn State team who is vulnerable at times. If you can break something big on them, their defensive backfield has been known to break down. That doesn't necessarily benefit Boise State and their big run-heavy offense. But all that being said, and it's Penn State, you're not playing Oregon. You're not playing Notre Dame. You're not playing Texas. You're playing Penn State, who is number 3 or 4 in the Big Ten.
Yeah. You're playing – when I think about Big Ten football, I think about the Iowas, the Minnesota, the Ohio States, Michigans, the really grounded and pounded, the running, the defense. And Penn State is at the crux of all of that, always. They're always having middle linebackers that are amazing. They're always having defensive ends that are great. Like, these guys, their front six are studs, and they have been proven studs for decades, since before I was born, before Lucas was born, and they're going to come ready to play, and they're going to have their ducks in a row. So, we were briefly talking to a couple of the Penn State fans, and they were saying that the word in the herd is that they're going to play a 5-man front. And I don't think Boise State's really seen that. They've seen 8-man boxes, but 5-man front, higher linemen, have your linebackers still. You're only playing 7 in the box, but you still got your DBs. So that'll be an interesting thing to watch.
Yeah, to that point, if Boise State's going to win this game, Maddox Madsen's going to have to make a handful of plays. He doesn't have to be the best player on the field, but he has to be the best player on the field in the right moment. And, when it's 4th and 1 and Dirk Cutter decides to go for it, and they dial up another play action like they've been doing all year on 4th and 1s, Madsen's got to make the throw. I think Boise State to win this game cannot turn the ball over.
Yeah, I mean, you might get one. I
think they got to play a clean game. If they can win the turnover battle, they can keep it low scoring. They can keep it in the my number one key to this game is keep it in the 20s. If they can keep it in the 20s, I think they have a chance.
Yeah. All right.
100%.
Okay, let's go quickly over the rest of these because we're not going to have another show before then. So let me pull those up, these odds, and I just want the over/under, and then I'm going to do picks afterwards. Okay. So Texas, Arizona State, they have Texas by 12.5.
Yeah.
I think Arizona covers it a little bit.
Arizona covers?
I think that Scatterborough, I think that's
Scatterboo.
Yeah. See, I can't get his name right. But no, he's a weapon for sure. It's going to be the same kind of dynamic as the BSU game.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think Texas covers tonight.
Yeah.
Or tomorrow, whatever.
Yeah.
I think Texas covers.
All right, Notre Dame, they have Georgia by 1.
I think they cover. I think without Carson back and without the practice that they've had, obviously it's Georgia, but
So Notre Dame covers is what you're saying.
I think they cover.
Yeah.
So you're saying Notre Dame wins.
Yeah.
Okay.
This one's tough. Where's the game? Is it in Peach Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Is that in New Orleans or is that in Atlanta?
Sugar Bowl.
Then that's Sugar Bowl, right?
So, yeah, it's the All-State Sugar Bowl, so it's going to be played in New Orleans.
So that's in New Orleans. Okay. In that case, I'll take Notre Dame. That game was in Atlanta. Basically a hometown crowd for Georgia. But
Yeah.
It's in New Orleans. I'll take Notre Dame.
All right, we're having technical Are you back? Well, we can kind of hear you.
Back.
Yeah, we can kind of hear you. It's all good.
Joey's doing
okay.
a live show from an iPhone.
I know. Isn't it great? All right, and then the last is the Ohio State. Ohio, as they say with all these little trendy teenage kids, right? So they have Ohio State by 2.5 over Oregon.
All right, so
You
I
lived in Eugene for
I live in Eugene. I'm a huge fan of Dan Lanning. I think he's going to get those boys motivated. I don't think you beat Ohio State twice after playing them. It's hard to beat the same team twice, so Ohio State's winning.
I think the winner of this game wins the national championship. It was so tight the first time around. I honestly think it's a flip of the coin. But because Oregon won the first time around and the way that game ended, I think Ohio State's going to come out with a little something. I think we saw that when they played Tennessee.
Talk closer to your. You talk closer to Blake.
I'm going to take Ohio State.
Ohio State.
Because of the way that game ended, I think Ohio State's got a chip on their shoulder there. I think they end up winning that game. But I think
And they looked good against Tennessee.
Okay.
I think
All right.
it's tight.
Okay, let's go. Let's go backwards. So you both have Ohio State over Oregon.
Yeah.
I have Oregon. You guys, Notre Dame and Georgia, who are you picking?
Notre Dame.
We both have Notre Dame.
Yeah, Notre Dame. I take Notre Dame as well. Texas and Arizona State.
You think Texas wins, but ASU covers, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Texas covers. I think that's a blowout. I think Texas wins.
I know. Okay, I have Texas as well. And then last but not least, tonight. What do you think?
I'll let you go first.
I mean, you got to pick places. We're here, right? You got to believe. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah,
You know?
I don't think we would have spent the money on tickets, money on the airfare. As much fun as this is, we wouldn't be here if we didn't think Boise State would win this game.
Could win or is going to? Could win or going to?
I'm going to go Boise State 27-24.
Okay.
Oh, it's tough.
Yeah, what do you got?
I have to go Boise State because born and raised.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Boise State. It's going to be some spunky score. It's going to be like 22-20.
On a 2-point conversion.
Yeah, something ridiculous.
All right, I'm not trying.
Safety returned.
I'm not trying. Hey, I'm not trying to take the wind out of anybody's sails, but I do have Penn State winning this one by a touchdown.
By a touchdown. I think if it's close, Boise State wins. But I do see a scenario where Penn State just falls.
Yes.
I think we both see that.
Okay.
Take the
100%.
take the orange and blue glasses off for a second. We both see a scenario where it's just the Jimmy and Joe scenario where Boise State just can't keep up athletically.
And historically, Boise State has struggled with a mobile quarterback. And Drew Aller, he can improvise, and that's scary.
Yeah.
Right? If you got a guy who can improvise, and you got two Lions in the backfield, and you got your Jimmys and Joes, that's tough.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily worried about the two running backs. What I'm worried about the most is that tight end they got.
Yeah.
That tight end worries me. They don't have a guy that can really match up with that. No one
Yeah.
does in the whole country. So,
Yeah. Well, okay, that does it. That puts us at about 15 minutes, about 20 minutes. Again, we have all of our picks in. We'll see who does it. We're going to let you guys go enjoy the rest of your time there, but we wanted to get this out, kind of get the vibe of what is your feeling. You're saying it's 7-3 out of 10, 70% Boise State is what you're seeing out
right now.
In this plaza, for sure.
In this plaza, I mean, keep in mind we're still 2.5 hours to kickoff. And kind of to our earlier point, I think it fills out with a little bit of Penn State fans because they just have such a huge alumni base. I think there's a lot of Penn State alumni that live in this valley, in the Phoenix Valley. They call it the Valley, right? A lot of Penn State alumni that live, in Vegas, LA, right?
And been there, bought the T-shirt, They know the routine.
Though, they travel to this game and they're out doing what we're doing right now, which is tailgate and having a good time before the game.
Yep. Contributing to the local economy.
That's right. That is why they have those, and we'll do a show, Lucas, about the economy with the bowl game, and when we were there, we have video, so we'll talk about that. So it is a huge financial boon to the whole area. We love it. So anyway, we're the Fighting Taters. I didn't even say that. I'm Ryan Luke. That's Lucas Gephardt. That's Blake. That's Blake from Boise.
Yeah.
That's the double B's. That's got double B's over there. Blake from Boise, and they are live. Of course, they're live, but they're in Glendale, Arizona, outside the All-State Stadium, also known as it was the University of Phoenix Stadium. It's Cardinal Stadium, right? It's where the Arizona Cardinals play, but live at the Fiesta Bowl, and they're going to go take it in, and they've been enjoying themselves. The picks are in. We have 2 picks, Boise State, and that's taking off the blue glasses, and I told them to do it, and I still don't think they did, but they took their blue glasses off. And I went with Penn State because I like to think that I'm a little bit more knowledgeable with college football and I have a little bit better insight, but it is what it is. No, good stuff though, guys. Thanks for doing it. Take some picks, whatever you have to do. We'd love to hear from it, and we'll circle back. Any final thoughts?
We win. We'll do another live show from tomorrow after we're celebrating. So
Live show at 10:30.
yeah.
Let's go. Hey, be sober for that one, please.
Oh yeah, we'll see.
Right. Yeah, we'll see.
We win, no promises.
Cheers. All right. Hey, guys, we love it. Hey, have a good one. Enjoy yourselves, and go Broncos.
Go Broncos, baby. All right.
Okay.
See ya.